my name is Philip Schulz. I'm working for the global crypto asset manager INVAO. I'm the vice president of global business development. And as you could see in the previously agenda, I will guide you within the next 5 to 10 minutes through what happened last week in crypto, going on to a short overview of crypto assets, following by on-chain matrix. And right now we are on a very interesting price development on Bitcoin. This might be a decision point for the next weeks to months. So what happened last week in crypto? A very interesting news is that Visa applies for the digital dollar blockchain patent. So the US Patent and Trademark Office, the USPTO, published that Visa has filled a patent application. So the credit card giant has filled an application for a computer system that can convert every fiat currency, also the dollar, into digital currency. So fiat, according to the details of this application, set up the fundament to become entirely digital in the future and can work closely with nearly any central bank to develop their own digital currency. The second big news of last week is that Temasek joins the Facebook Libra effort, to be more precisely, the association of Libra. So after Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard left this association in the last year, one of the biggest institutional investors, which is the Singapore state-owned investment firm Temasek, which has 330 billion asset under management in its holding, joins this Libra association. So besides Uber, Lyft, and recent Horowitz, Spotify, and Shopify, the very first Asian big institutional investor, Temasek, joins this Libra effort, which is quite interesting because Libra is not dead as many media is saying it. So the development is fast ongoing, and it's really interesting to have a closer look nearly every week on this project. So the next topic is crypto assets, a short overview. So worldwide, there are nearly 85,000 blockchain projects. And when we have a look on crypto assets, which are listed on exchanges, we are talking about nearly 5,000 different crypto assets. As you can see here on this slide, you see the top 10 crypto assets by market capitalization. Talking about this, when we have a closer look on the very first crypto assets, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have nearly 75% of the whole market capitalization, which doesn't mean the other crypto assets are not as important as Bitcoin and Ethereum. All of them have their own purpose and business model. For example, Tether is a stable coin, or Ripple is aiming to replace the SWIFT, this existing SWIFT system, which is the interbanking payment and settlement system. And as I mentioned before, Libra can have this impact to jump on the very first position when it comes to market capitalization, when nearly 2.3 billion people using this digital crypto asset within the Facebook ecosystem. And this can have switched this positioning maybe in the next months or next years. Switching to some really interesting on-chain matrix in the Bitcoin network. So the total hash rate, the hash rate is a measuring unit of the processing power of the Bitcoin network. So the Bitcoin network must make intensive calculations for security purpose. When we take the hash rate in terahashes per second, this means, for example, 10 terahashes per second, that this Bitcoin network can make 10 trillion calculations per second. And after the halving last week, we saw a decreasing of 20 terahashes per second in the Bitcoin network. So 20 terahashes of the hash rate were switched off, left the Bitcoin network. So this is quite interesting because the Bitcoin network is getting more efficient. So at Bitcoin current price and difficulty to mine, connected to the half Bitcoin reward, to right now 6.75 Bitcoin for a confirmed block. All generation of miners are not profitable anymore and were switched off from the network. So you just can compete right now with a more efficient equipment and a cheaper electricity price, which is increasing the security of the Bitcoin network. Switching from the total hash rate to confirmed transaction per day. As you can see here, you see the confirmed transaction per day on the Bitcoin network starting in 2009. And on the long term, you see an upward trend in this unit. Of course, you had after the bubble, which was in end of 2017, the transaction per day decreased, but after this, it's increasing steadily. The medium, or when we are talking about a global payment system, the median transaction per second for Bitcoin is 4 to 7 transactions per second. When you compare this number to established payment provider like Visa, which has 1,700 transactions per second, or MasterCard, which has 5,000 transactions per second, you can easily see that Bitcoin right now, with the state of art of technology, is not made for a global payment system. But of course, you have different other crypto assets. For example, Ripple, as I mentioned before, has, for example, 1,500 transactions per second. But the whole crypto ecosystem is working heavily on a so-called second layer solution for Bitcoin. It's called the Lightning Network, so that you can increase the transaction per second. But right now, when you're talking about 7 transactions per second on the Bitcoin network, it's not made for global payment. And my last topic for today is that Bitcoin is on a very interesting decision point. You can see here the price of Bitcoin starting 2017. After reaching the all-time high of nearly 20,000 US dollars, we entered a bear market, which exists right now nearly for 900 days. After this all-time high, we reached in July of 2019 a lower high, and in 2020, in February, a second lower high. So when you take a trend line from the all-time high to the lower highs, you have right here a very interesting point Bitcoin is reaching right now. So in the next weeks and days, our portfolio managers and traders will closely look on this point here right now. Can the Bitcoin price establish itself above the line, or it's following the upward trend below the line? So in the next days or week, we can see if Bitcoin exited the bear market and joined the bull market, but we need some time to get this price confirmation about above this trend line. Yeah, and the last slide is just gathering of informative insights out of the feedback from the last week. If I could gather some informative websites, so the crypto assets, market cap, ranking, price charts, and more. It was my second slide. It's called Coin Market Cap. It's a really informative website. Also, we from INVAO are watching the market every day and gathering the newest news and articles, and also some knowledge. And when you want to deep dive into the blockchain technology, I can say that the Block Geeks website, it's a blockchain community for education, is really helpful for nearly every level of knowledge. So yeah, that was it. Thank you very much.